Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Lisa,
And I'm Lori,
and we are
and
the
we
ladies
are the
of
ladies of Couch
Couch
Coaching,
Coaching and Carrying On.
carrying on. And we are butchering up that name. We gonna get it right. We gonna get it right. All
We got
right.
it right, people, but we're off a little bit because Lori's in a totally different state. I'm in Tennessee, and Lori's in Indiana, and we won't fault Lori from being in Indiana. And please don't fault me for
Whatever.
being in Tennessee. But we're gonna come together and make this happen. So Lori is gonna explain what we're doing today. What's the topic for today, Lori?
All right. So, as in the couch coaching, every couch is a court side, and every fan is a coach. And so we are going to be coaching. And everybody always looks at they always look at Magic Johnson and Kobe and talk about the best top players. But we're going to look at the paint. We're going into the paint where we own the rim and the paint. And so we're going to take a look at number five positions, the center position, and we're going to give our top five ranked centers for both the NBA and the WNBA. So, Lisa, who is your number five position for the NBA center?
It's a secret. I can't tell. If you send me $20, I tell you. Anyway, my pick, my number five pick, it was a hard decision. I had two number fives, David Robinson and Hakeem Olajuwon. And excuse me to those people who love David Robinson and those who love Hakeem Olajuwon. I had to pick one. And so my pick number five spot is Hakeem Olajuwon. This man, he played in 1,218 games. He had 21.8 points per game, 11.1 rebounds, and 2.5 assists. He also had two championships with the Houston Rockets. So I chose him overall as my number five pick. How about
Yeah,
you?
but
Who's
you
your
know,
number five?
he could generate steals. Like his perimeter defense. Well, he protected that rim. Hakeem protected that rim. Like, he was an elite center. So I could give you props on that. But I can tell you one thing. He only had two championships, and his regular season resume was not the best ever. So I could see why you he can't stack up against the other five. So, but my number five spot is Shaq. Now I know people probably gonna disagree with that. Yeah, I got Shaq as number five. I mean, he's won four NBA champions, but he had a whole bunch of people around him. He's got three MVP player. I mean, three most valuable player, and he was 2000 MVP. He won three straight championships with the Lakers, but again, he had Kobe and everybody else around him. But you can't get off of he had 33 points per game and nearly 16 rebounds. That is a triple triple. He was able to do that. So I had Shaq at my number five.
Do you realize that Shaq had 15 All-Star selections? Did you realize that?
Yeah,
You got him at
he,
number.
he made it to the top five.
Okay. I'm
but
just arguing with you because
but
Shaq
but
was a
but
force to
but
be
but
reckoned with.
but yeah, but he can't hit a free throw. You couldn't pay him to hit a free throw. His free throw percentage was horrendous, and homeboy was huffing and puffing up and down the court. I mean, he was like me trying to run up and down the court when I was a center. So I mean, he has a lot of stuff, but the free throws for me was put him at the fifth position.
Well, I can empathize with Shaq on the free throws because I wasn't very good at free throws either. So I'm gonna give him a little credit for that. But a free throw is a free shot. There's nobody guarding you. There's nobody trying to smack the ball down. So you should
and
be pretty
and he
good at free
couldn't and
throws.
he could and he couldn't hit him. And I think if Shaq had Kobe's work ethic, I could probably put him up higher in my ranking. But for right now, homeboy is staying at fifth position. So
Okay.
who do you got for your number four?
Okay. I can't argue too much with you at Shaq being at number 5 because I got him at number 4. The suspense of it all. Shaq is number 4 for me because the people that I have in my top 3 are much better than him. Um, they didn't have the people around him, like you said, and they could shoot, they could play defense, they could do all the things that Shaq did, plus they could do more. And we'll get to those people momentarily. So, who do you have as
Okay.
your number 4, Lori?
So for my number four, I got Wilt Chamberlain. So what do you have Wilt as? You got him as your three?
Wilt is my number 3. Do do
I
you
have
do
Wilt.
you do you realize
Yeah,
that
go ahead.
Wilt is the only person in WNB, I mean in NBA history to have a 100-point game? And do you realize
Wow,
that
no.
in one game he had 55 rebounds?
But
That's
then
a
he should
lot
have
to
been number two.
accomplish.
Right. So,
So
do
where do
you
you
think
have him?
he
Uh, Go ahead.
yeah, Wilt was my Wilt is he was my he's my number uh four.
Okay.
Yeah, Wilt's my number four.
Okay.
And here's the other thing. You know, he never fouled out an NBA game.
I didn't realize that.
As a center, that is hard to do.
That
I
is
found that in the first quarter as a center. I was always fouling out. But he
oh,
never fouled out an NBA game.
well, let me ask you, do you think back
But
in
but he
the
only and, and he only had two championships. That's the reason why he's not my number one.
yeah, but do you think that people regularly fouled out of games back then? Because who do you know that what games did you watch that many people fouled out of? Did Larry Bird ever
I
foul
found
out of a
out.
game?
Yes, yes.
Was he
Everybody was
not
fouling out.
was he not playing defense?
He was playing defense. He was playing defense. Um, but look at his stats. I mean, his stats is how many rebounds did he have? He had 23, almost 2,400 rebounds. So he was playing defense.
Yeah. And he
He averaged 50.4 points per game.
yeah,
So
that
his rebound percentage is crazy.
yeah.
And he was a
I can
four-time MVP, and he's a seven-time scoring champion. So an 11-time rebounding champion. So yeah,
and
he was playing D. He was just
and you
playing
got
D, but he just yeah. Go ahead.
and you got him as your number 4?
Yes,
Okay. So who do you have as your number 3? I said he was my number 3. Who's your number 3?
my number three is Russell,
Okay.
who you had,
Bill
and you
Russell?
Bill Russell was your number five, right?
No, my number 5 is Hakeem. My number
I
4
thought
is
you said
Shaquille. My number
okay. I
3
thought you said Russell.
is Wilt Chamberlain.
Okay,
Yeah. So we're working on your 3 now.
yeah. My three is Bill Russell.
Okay. Why is that?
Now, because he did win 11 championships in 13 seasons. Who does that, right?
That's
So,
correct.
and he wasn't simply a rebounder. He revolutionized the defensive game. I mean, he was on point when it comes to defense. Particularly, he was a blocking king. He was blocking and altering shots left and right. So he changed the game. He changed the way the center played. It wasn't just all about rebounding and shooting. It was just he made it like this is my house. Don't come in here. Get out of here. You know, with blocking shots all over the place. Yeah, so that's why he is my number three.
Well, what do you think of him? Was he just as good of a offensive player, you think, as well as a defensive player?
I mean, he was more defensive than offensive. I mean, his shooting percentage wasn't anything like Wilt Chamberlain. So he was more. He changed the game from a defensive perspective.
Yeah. I mean, those big guys back then, it seemed like everybody was big and tall except for the point guard. It seemed like everybody was tall and slinky. You didn't have a Shaquille O'Neal back then. These guys seem
Right.
more fit and they could do pretty much anything. So I can see why you made him your selection. Now, let me ask you this. With that being
And he was
said, we
con-
got,
and he was considered a small center anyway. So I don't know if he was playing today, if he would still be considered a center or a strong four. But I mean, but he had the least. What were you gonna say?
with that being considered, those are your top three.
Yep.
Now, who
Who was your
who got
three?
your my three was Wilt Chamberlain at number three, number
Okay.
four Shaquille, number five is Hakeem. So when it comes
Okay.
down to my final two, drum roll, I'm picking my final two,
Hold up.
Kareem.
Hold up. Hold up. Let's just wait. Let's just wait. Let's just jump to the WNBA and let's make people wait for the top two. So
Oh, the
let's
top
just
two?
pivot. Yeah, let's
Okay.
just pivot and go to the WNBA and then have people wait to see who our top two NBA and WNBAs are. How about that?
Ladies and gentlemen, when Lori speaks, I obey, and she said, "Let's skip to the WNBA." So the WNBA it is, and who are we looking at the in the WNBA, Lori?
All right, so I have for my and it's kind of controversial, but I like Jonquel Jones.
Why?
I mean, she's new, but I think there's some arguments that she's not a legacy, but I think as a 2021 MVP, 2024 WNBA championship, she has multiple all WNBA teams, and she's been defensive team of the year. So she's and she's one of the few WNBA players to produce 20 points in the game and 20 rebound a game. So that says a lot. So I'm having her at my number 5 spot for the WNBA. Who do you got?
Oh, okay. At my number five spot, it came down to two legends, Margot Didak and Candace Parker at my number five spots. And between the two of them, I'm gonna have to go with Candace Parker. Candace,
I
the
know
other
you
ladies,
love Candace. You love Candace. So go ahead
I
and tell me
love
why
me some
Candace.
Candace Parker. Candace Parker can do no wrong in Lisa Harper's eyes. She could dunk, she could defend. I'm not even looking at overall stats. Candace Parker, I don't pick her as my number one to be not to be biased, but she is in my top five and she is my number five because Candace made people around her better. Candace was a coach on the floor, and that makes a difference in how a team plays. And the players respected Candace. So she's my number five.
All right. And who do you have for your number 4?
My number four is Yolanda Griffith.
Okay.
Yolanda Griffith, she played 11 seasons, 1999 to 2009. She played 311 games. She had 13.6 um, points per game. And she had one finals MVP. She's had one NBA title. And she got defensive player at one point in time. So she was a very good, not as much of a shooter, but I liked her defense. She reminded me a little bit of, shall I brag on you, Lori? She reminded me a
Go
little bit of
ahead.
you with her defense. She was tough, and uh, people were actually afraid to come to the goal on her because they knew that they were gonna. If she when she fouled hard, and I think that's the way it should be. If you're gonna let somebody come to the goal, foul them and don't let them score. And they did not like coming on the inside when she was there.
Yeah, it,
That reminded me of
yeah,
you, Lori.
exactly. I love getting those triples, triple rebounds, triple shots, and triple block shots. So I loved it, loved it, loved it. All
Yeah,
right.
I
So
don't
for
think I
me,
ever. Uh huh.
no, go ahead.
Yeah. No, go ahead.
No, you were saying for you, you don't remember. You started to say you don't remember.
For me, playing on the team with Lori, I don't ever remember going to Lori's side, over to that side. I always shied away from her because I was a lot smaller than her. And even as a teammate, when you were practicing, she took everything seriously. So I never came in contact with her. So on purpose. And maybe
Same
that's why we're
here.
still
Same here.
friends to this very day, Lori.
That's probably it. That is probably it. So for my number four spot, I had a tie. I was debating between Tina Charles as well as Brittany Griner. Now, one is because I love the way Brittany plays. You know, she's a physical game changer. You know, again, she had one time, 859 career blocks. She was second in the league history behind Margot. Um, people focus on dunks and blocks, but Grinders she was just an effective player. She was just ridiculous. Her field goal percentage was at 56%. So I have her there, but and because I think she actually surpasses Leslie in fouls. But I also debated with Tina Charles. Do you have any of those in your Tina or Brittany? Yeah, so I
I
also
stuck
like
with more
Tina.
of the old school players. I stuck with more of the old
Okay,
school. Yeah.
so Tina
But if I
Charles,
had put
I
some of the
consider her. Yeah, go ahead.
um I if I had stuck with some of the more modern day people, she would have been on my list.
Yeah, and the reason why I have her tied because she played for a long time, so her stats is like crazy ridiculous. But the only thing that kept her, on my number four is because she didn't have no WNBA championship. So, how much, how much can you look at that when you don't have any championships? But her stats is unbelievable. But she's been there for a long time.
Okay. For a little bit of WNBA history, did you know that the WNBA was founded in 1996? And the first game was on June the 21st, 1997, between the New York Liberty. They defeated the Los Angeles Sparks 67 to 57. Just for a little history.
Oh wow.
A lot of people don't realize that the WNBA has been around that long. I think it's I think in the last 7 or 8 years, it's become more popular.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
I think
definitely.
Caitlin and a lot of these other players, Caitlin and Angel Reese, they're giving it a lot more notoriety,
Yeah,
so
and Mitchell. Look, I gotta brag about my Indiana Fever girls, Mitchell and
yeah,
all of them. Peace out for the Fever. Yes.
yeah, and,
Yeah,
and
yeah. I am
but
very proud of them, the legacy that they're leaving behind.
right. But I'm
Yeah.
going to tell you who's showing up and showing out right now, not to get off of our list.
You are off the
Wows.
list.
Wows.
Yes, she
Wows with
is.
the afro. I'm going to give me an
Yeah.
afro wig dedicated just to her. The girl is
Okay.
showing out. But
All right.
anyway,
Now can we get back onto the centers? We
well,
don't care about
I
all
gotta,
of this.
I like to venture off, Lori, into unexplored
let's
territory. So
let's
where were we
let's
at?
get let's get let's get back to the paint. Can we get back to the paint? Jeez. All right.
Where were we
I
at?
think we were on number three.
So I had Candace Parker at number 4. I think I said Yolanda Griffith at number 3. Candace was number 5. Yolanda was number
Right.
4. Now my
Right.
number 3 is a lot of people may not know Taj McWilliam Franklin. She played 14 seasons, 1999 to 2012. She played in 408 games. She had 11.4 points per game. Um, she had two WNBA titles. So
Wow.
yeah, and she was good. She just didn't get the notoriety because it was so early when she started. But I have her as my number three. So how about you?
I got Lauren Jackson. So she 6'5". She stretched the defense out. She was 3 times MVP. She won two WNBA champions, and she just she just made the spacing in the paint harder to come in there and shoot. So she was just heavy game. She was more dangerous than anybody. So the only problem with Lauren is that injuries shorten her lifespan. But if she was there, I still have her as a as a powerful player just because she's bringing that 6'5" height to it.
Okay. Now, let me ask you, um, in comparison to Candace Parker, as far as their play, would you say those two were kind of the similar?
No, it was just definitely different play because Candace, I felt like she was more, she was more all around because she can shoot and she can do defense. She can rebound and block shots. So I feel like she was more all around. But when it came to owning, they just have different styles of play. But when it came to owning the paint and just having that big center that helps stretch, the big stretch helps stretching that defense. You just it's just a different style of play.
Okay. So before we go back to me, we're down to our last two. So are we going to do the last two for the WNBA or are we going back to the NBA?
Let's just go ahead and finish up this two. We probably got the same people because we got who's your top two?
No, I want you to go first.
Mine, of course, is Sylvia Fowles. You can't, and Lisa Leslie is number one.
People, I swear to you all,
I can't even get around it. I can't get around it because it's just you just look at stats and how they changed the game. Lisa, she was the first woman to dunk, and it that back then that was, oh my God. And that was with the men's basketball, not even the women's basketball. Um, so and she brought she also I feel like Lisa carried herself in a way that it didn't, it brought beauty to the WNBA. Wasn't looking like it was just a bunch of tomboys playing. It's just the way she carried herself. So I have her just because of all the stuff, as a legacy, all the stuff that she brought to the game. But I can't even go, and I'm jumping right to number one without even giving Sylvie Fowles her props, right? Um, who do you have? I'll let you talk about Sylvie since I already jumped to Leslie.
and for the audience, Lori and I did not pick our number ones before this show. We really didn't. That just goes to show you how similar in thought we are. My top two was Sylvia Fowles and also Lisa Leslie. And Lisa Leslie, no contest, she gets it. She is my number one overall center pick. Uh, like I said, I picked some of the old school players and not the younger people. But none of these young people that are playing today, they they're not in the same class as Lisa Leslie. Not
or
nowhere
Sylvie.
near.
Sylvie. Sylvie
Yeah.
had like over 3,700 rebounds. She also had two championships. She won two final MVPs. four times Defensive Player of the Year. She won. Her and Lisa both won countless Olympic gold medals.
Hmm.
Um, she had, and Sylvia was bringing both the defense, the rebounding, the efficiency, and what the rings, the championships. So you
Yes,
can't
yeah,
cannot argue against her being her being number two.
yeah. And Lisa played 12 seasons, and Sylvia, she played 15. Uh, games played. Lisa Leslie played 363, and Fowles played 408. So, I mean, that's a given if you got three more seasons than Lisa Leslie. But
Right.
overall, my GOAT, the greatest of all time center at this point in time, until somebody proves her wrong, is Lisa Leslie. And you say the same, Lori?
I say the same. I say the
Yeah,
same.
yeah.
All all right. So drum roll. All right. Who is your top? Who is your number two for the NBA?
Now, a lot of people are going to be mad at me about this, but you know what? I don't care. Uh, my top two, Kareem and Bill Russell. Kareem, he was just a force to be reckoned with. He could do it all. He could block shots. He had that sky hook. He won championships. He could play defense. He could run the floor. He could talk smack, but he didn't have to because he backed it up. And that's the thing that I liked about the guys in that era. They really didn't talk a lot of smack. They played ball and they were serious about playing. Now, I like Bill Russell. uh, he played with the Boston Celtics. He had longevity. He played with the same team for 11 years. Not for 11 years. He had 11 championships with the Boston Celtics. Uh, he played 963 games versus Kareem's 1,560 games played. So Kareem played a lot more games. So naturally, he would have a lot more rebounds and all that kind of stuff. But overall, my number one pick is. I'm gonna let you do your top two first.
Well, I like Bill Russell, and people are going to say, I can't see it. So I have um, Moses Malone as my number two, and Kareem as my number one. And the reason why I picked Moses because he is absolutely underrated. But he also won three MVPs. Um, he had six times rebounding championships. He's won 12 All-Star games. Um, he still holds the NBA record of offensive rebounds, where he grabbed 21 offensive rebounds in one game, and uh, he was just out rebounding everybody. So to me, I feel like, and he was the first player before this became a thing that went directly from high school into professional basketball. And so even though he kind of played with multiple people, people just don't even talk about him. And I think if you still after all these years, you still holding the offensive rebounding record, how you not going to be recognized as one of the top two players? So that's why I have him. But I got Kareem. That's my number one.
Okay, so a little stats for the NBA. Blocks and steals were not officially tracked by the NBA until the 1973 to 74 seasons, and because of this, Bill Russell and Wilt Chamberlain have no official recorded block or steal statistics. Can you imagine the
Because
stats if they had?
because they wasn't doing it. I told you because my number he changed the game by bringing in blocks and steals.
Yeah,
That's why yeah. So
yeah,
they weren't doing it. They weren't. You remember the style of the game has changed a lot.
yeah. It
Um,
has.
even when we was playing, it's changed a lot. So nobody was doing block shots, but when I got in there, I mean, but when we were playing, it became a thing. You remember we aged ourselves. You remember when it
Yeah.
was 3-on-3?
Yeah, yeah.
So nobody was doing no block shots at
No,
that time. You know,
I was too.
you remember
I
because
would have never. I was too short, Lori. I couldn't block anybody's shot. I could steal the ball, but I couldn't block anybody's shot. You know.
you remember
Yeah.
we had to play. You remember when we first started? I mean, even though we were not in high school yet, you remember we still had to play with the men's basketball. They didn't introduce women's basketball until till later, till we got to high school.
I
So
don't like
yeah,
the women's I don't like that, but I don't like that basketball. When I go to the
why?
gym, I use it's too small and too rubbery. I like the other ball. I like the men's ball. Yeah,
Yeah, well,
yeah,
we used to play. You remember we used to play pickup games in the summer using the men's basketball, and then had to because we was playing against the guys, right?
yeah.
So and then have to come back and then had to readjust our shot for to play the women's basketball. So yeah, so then you had to try to find somebody to play. It wasn't enough girls to play, but we like playing against the guys anyway because that
That's
just get
right.
helped that just helped our game anyway. And
You
who's
just
talking talking smack when you just this
and you know
block
what was fun?
gotcha.
You know what was fun? We'd whip up on them, wouldn't we, Lori?
Yes, we
We
would
would
with
whip up
one
on
of
them.
them.
We did not play, you know,
Yeah, I
and
loved it. I loved it. Yeah.
yeah, those
So
were, people don't go to the asphalt as much anymore, and play ball, but we had a lot of fun. But who is your number one overall NBA GOAT? Not of the old era, old schoolers. Who's your
the
number one?
Kareem is number one for me for NBA, definitely. Just because of his shots and the stuff that he brings to the table. So he has to be the number one. Has to be the number one. I mean, he has six MVP, six titles, two MVP. He played until he was 38. So he was still playing at 38 with the hook shot.
Yeah,
That with
yeah.
that yeah. So yeah.
So, my number one overall pick is also Kareem. He's just he's just a force to be reckoned with. And like I said, he owned the court when he was out there. Nobody
Yeah.
could stop him. Uh, not taking anything away from all the other players, the big centers, but he's my number one. I'm sure a lot of people have their number ones and will disagree with us, but hey, that's just the way it is. You
It's
know,
right. So
Kareem,
that's why we coach it from the couch, where
our opinions matter to some and they don't matter to other people. So, um, but I was arguing with a guy today at work about who the greatest center was, and he argued and argued and argued with me that it was Shaq. And his main reason was because there was nobody bigger than Shaq. And I'm like, that's not a good reason for somebody to be a number one. You got to come with more than that. You know, there's a lot of big guys out there. Now, Shaq was good. And Shaq, I think he's an overall good person. But as far as basketball, he's not my number one.
right, and then there is going to be somebody that that was on the San Antonio team, Wibby.
Oh yeah, Wimpy. But
Yeah,
I'm not even putting those guys in a category yet because to me they haven't been in the NBA long enough. I know he's establishing his game and he'll be
right,
later
exactly.
on, maybe in 5 years from now, we can have another GOAT pick of this era. Uh, you
Right,
know, um, that's just like LeBron and the LeBron and Michael Jordan thing. That's another episode that we'll have to get into because that's a big one right there, and I've got my opinions about it. And so um, sometimes people pick people because they actually like them. Like me, I like Candace, but I have to say overall she wasn't my goat. She was
yeah,
in my top five, but not my goat. I have to be honest about that. I have to go by the. You have to go. You have to put some stats in there somewhere. You have
yeah,
to.
yeah. You
So,
got you
and
got to.
and you to me, if you haven't won a title, You're not in my stats at all. How do you feel about that?
I agree. I agree. If you haven't if you haven't won the title, you can't make it. So that's just why he didn't make it. He didn't make it either. But he's tall. He's establishing his own mark. But he's got a long way to come. So uh,
Yeah.
we'll wait and
He's gonna
see.
get a championship, whether it's with the Spurs or somebody else down the line. He's gonna get one. But that
Yeah,
has to be a horrible feeling playing your most of your career in the NBA and not getting a title.
yeah,
That has to feel bad. Like
yeah. Yeah, like Barkley.
he has to sit there with Shaq, and Shaq has to throw it in his face every now and then. But Barkley was a good
Exactly.
player, and he when
Yeah,
we go into some of the next phases of who we think the goats. I think goats. There's not a overall goat to me. There's defensive goats. There's 3-point shooting goats. There's all kinds of goats to me. There's not one in particular.
yeah,
You
yeah.
know. So we'll get to those later, folks, and just stay tuned because we're just getting started. Isn't that right, Lori?
That is right. All right, my
Okay.
friend. This was fun. This is real, and I shall talk to you later.
Couch coaching and carrying on out.
Out.